Hello and welcome, my name's Ryan, I'm also known as RM2K Dev. Today I'm just going to show you guys a game that I've been working on. It's called Survival Island. Now I live streamed this on Saturday. We had a massive 10-hour live stream on Saturday, and the response from that was quite, oh my god, we've already got an egg. Anyway, sorry, the response from that was quite good, so I thought I'd carry on working on this game and show you where it gets to. So right now it's hour 8 in the day, and as you can see, we are on day 0, hour 8, minute 48, so it's going to start getting dark soon, so I really have to quickly get a torch going, and I'll just do that really quickly. So basically, the way you do this is you click on resources throughout the world, and you get objects from them. So in this case, I've got these wooden logs. Now I can right click and move these items around, and that's how you move items throughout the world, because there's no inventory, or inventory. It's all about moving the items around. So I'm going to stack up the coal and the wood, and then I'm going to double click on it with my left mouse button, and that will give us a torch. Now if I go and chop down another tree real quick, I need a bit more wood. So here we go, we've got some more wood. Now 4 pieces of wood stacked together, if I move those up here and put them in the center and double click on them, will turn into a campfire. And if I put the torch onto the campfire and double click, it will turn into a full-on campfire. So I had to get that out of the way really quickly because it's starting to get dark. So basically, the premise of Survival Island, I'm not 100% certain yet, but you've either been stranded on this island, a boat has crashed and left you here, you fell off a boat and you washed up on the shore on this island. This map is just a test map. Eventually, it'll probably be procedurally generated. But basically, you're trying to survive here. Now, currently, health and hunger don't do anything. I've mainly been working on the artificial intelligence for the fish over here, and also the chickens, as well as the time and weather system. So every day, it's about to swap days as well, because currently we're on hour 12. So if you keep an eye on min temp and max temp, they are the minimum and maximum temperatures that the day will reach. So, or could possibly reach, that I should say. So when this hour is up and it goes to day 1, the temperatures, the minimum and maximum temperatures for the next day will be set, and potentially a randomized weather. And as you can see, we're now on day 1 and those temperatures have changed. During the night, the temperatures will steadily drop down until they get closer and closer to the minimum, and during the day they will rapidly approach the maximum until they start getting closer, and then it will slow down. Now there is a little bit of light around the player just so that you can see what's going on. It's not really a lot, but that's the whole purpose of crafting these campfires and things like that. So I've got a little apple down here. If I go and I stand next to that, if I double click on that, it will consume it. My health goes up by 5 because that's just an arbitrary number I've got the apples set at. Now, some of the interesting mechanics in this game, obviously you can see the crafting system, it's based on moving items around. So I can move these items anywhere I want, split them apart. If there's no recipe for an item when you double click on it, and you're standing close enough to it, it will consume it. And consumption will fire off an event that will basically tell the game what you want that to do. So I'm going to craft another little torch. I'm going to place that torch over there. Now I've got an acorn here on the floor. This is actually a seed. It's a temporary sprite, but basically I can move these around to where I feel like they should go, and I can plant a tree there just by left clicking on it or using that item. And in some amount of time, it's random. The tree will eventually grow into a small tree, and then the small tree will grow into a big tree, and you can harvest these big trees for wood. So it's coming up on morning now, so we've got a full day-night cycle. I've replaced the lighting engine in this game. I had a fairly crap one that I made myself. I've replaced it with Glare, which is a fantastic lighting library made for Game Maker. You can see we've got a lot of apples falling off these trees. So the rates and things like that, the balance isn't 100% yet, but we're getting there. Now the fish, I have to credit Uheartbeast for doing the hammerhead shark. They are amazing. Look at the animations on that. That's great. And the little fishies, I made those. I took a sprite from Open Game Art and made them silhouette-y, or I don't know what the word for that. I turned them into silhouettes. The fish will randomly swim under the water and swim back on top of the water. So you see, they dive down and then they come back up. So you'll see them disappearing under the water and coming back on top of the water, which is pretty cool. And now for some really interesting gameplay. This is something I haven't really seen too often in a game before, and that's the ability to literally dig a hole and go down into the earth. So to make there we go, the tree's grown. To make a hole, we need a shovel, and to make a shovel, we need some wood. So that gave 3 acorns. That's pretty good. That's a good drop for this tree. And there is also the potential, if you're using a lot of wood, to actually consume all of the trees and actually run out of trees on your island. But like I said, I'm not done with balancing. So I need 2 pieces of wood, that's for a handle, and I need a piece of stone. So I'm going to go over here and mine this stone. There we go. I'm using my mouse button, by the way, to drag items around, and like double-clicking on my left mouse button will, depending on the circumstance, will actually break down these rocks as I click on them, see? And that leaves you with a nice little pile of rocks that you can use. So I've got this pile of 2 wood and 1 rock. If I double click on that, it will give us a shovel. Now the interesting thing about the shovel, I'm going to make another shovel, just because it is kind of useful. I'm going to plant a couple more trees down here as well. So I'm going to chop this tree down here. I'll move that tree over there. And what I'll do is I'll make 1 more shovel just by bringing over some more resources, and I'm just making another shovel there. Right, so the shovel is very interesting because you can place the shovel where you want to dig a hole, stand next to it. If I'm not near the shovel and I double click on it, nothing happens. You have to be next to it to consume the item. So I'm going to move next to the shovel and double click on it, and you'll see it creates a hole in the ground. Now, there will be a bit of lag here. This is temporary. I'm working on a solution for this, but basically when I enter the hole, the first thing it's doing right now is it's generating a cave for me. And it's placed a ladder inside of this cave in the center, so I can walk in and out of the worlds as I please. Now, something interesting to note is that the worlds are persistent. If I move items around on the top level and then go underground, when I come back on top level, those items will be where I left them. So that's kind of cool, something that doesn't happen too often in Game Maker. I'm not fully finished with the mining mechanic yet, but basically you can dig around the cave and find yourself some sick loots, I suppose. There'll be minerals and things under here that you use to craft other items. And exit the subterrain. Now this is where it gets interesting. I've got a second shovel here. Now obviously when the land is much bigger and there's a lot more to the game, you'll be able to move around to different areas. Now if I come over here and dig a hole in the ground, which I'll do now, you'll see we've got 2 holes in the ground. Now these are actually lining up with an area called the subterrain. I'm calling it that for now, but basically as I go down into this cave, you'll see if I move upwards, you'll see that we start to see some of the cave that we dug earlier, and there's the other ladder. So that's kind of interesting because what you've essentially got here is, I'm just going to move these items out of the way. They're kind of a pain in the butt right now, but like I said, it's a work in progress. But yeah, so we can exit through this cave and we'll be at this one, or we can enter through the top cave. It's becoming nighttime. And my fire down here is running out, so I need to get some more fire going. Probably a good idea to chop some wood. Chop some trees down. There we go. Bring up 4 pieces of wood. I will make it so that you can stoke the fire with more wood soon. But for the moment, I've just crafted a campfire. And you can't move these campfires around. See, I can't move those. And I'm just going to place the coal. Oh, it's not a coal, is it? It's a torch. Place the torch and then double click. And there we go. The torch will set the fire back alight. So yeah, as we enter the cave, we can head down here and you'll see the other ladder, and these are all positioned relative to where you dug the holes in the top world. So quite an interesting mechanic there. Each hole will actually link you back to the same subterranean, and all the items and all the states remain. Obviously this is just temporary graphics. This is not going to be exactly how it is. This will change, and we can go back up to the top floor. Now we're approaching morning again. I haven't figured out the exact time scale as well. I think that's a little bit too slow, but we're getting there. Now, chicken breeding. Did you see that egg just appear when those 2 chickens touched each other? That's chickens breeding. So basically there's a small chance that the chickens will breed, which is an interesting mechanic. So the chickens will continue to breed. There'll be other animals on the survival island for you to harvest, I suppose, kill and eat, but there will be other animals, and the eggs, they all take a random amount of time. There's random generation in the amount of eggs that can be spawned onto a map. There's a random number of chickens that can be spawned onto the map, and all sorts of randomization factors. Now, the chickens, let's kill a chicken. So if I click on the chicken, nothing happens. If I'm close to a chicken and I click on it, you'll see the chicken goes red and he gets into an angry state where he or she tries to run away. Now, if I keep attacking the chicken, eventually it will turn into 2 pieces of steak. Again, temporary sprites. These will be chicken fillets in the future, but nevertheless, that's not important right now. Now, obviously, you're in Survival Island, so you're going to need a way to gather food and cook food. Now, the way you cook food on Survival Island is by dragging the food in proximity to the campfire. So the closer the food is to the campfire, I'm going to do a little demonstration here. Get out of the way, chickens. Get out of the way. The closer the meat is to the campfire, the faster it cooks. The idea being that the campfire is hotter the closer you get to it. So what you'll see is this one here on the right-hand side will actually become darker brown, and that's when you know it's cooked. And this one will stay pink. Oh, that campfire is burnt out. Let me move this one. Move to this one here. There you go. You see that became a darker color compared to this one here. So that means you've got cooked meat. Now, you can't eat cooked meat yet, but eventually I will make it so you can eat the cooked meat. And I'll leave this one here a little bit closer to the fire, but not so close that it's the same speed as the other one. So you can see that part of the game is about managing your resources, and the other part of it is also about managing time. So you're going to be able to cook meats at different rates, so you can go underground and start digging up your mines and start, collecting resources. And eventually the whole purpose of the game is that you're going to try not to die. So there we go. That one there just cooked itself. Now, if I move that closer to the fire, what will happen is it will eventually burn, and burnt meat is typically not good. Doesn't taste too good, so obviously I think the deal with burnt meat will be that it will give you less of a recovery compared to properly cooked meat. So that's a couple of the crafting things. I just harvested a little bit more coal. There we go. So that piece of meat is burnt, so now you can compare the difference. I'll get a raw piece as well, just so you can see the difference between the 3 pieces of meat. So there we go. We have raw, medium, we have raw, cooked properly, and burnt to a crisp on the right-hand side there. Now, fishing rods. The only way to get fishing rod is to have string, and I don't have any string in the game right now, but I can spawn some string in if I close the game and start it again. But if I close the game, my video recording software is not going to work. So you're just going to have to trust me. We do have fishing rods, and you can use the cooked meat as bait for the fishing rod. So you need well-cooked meat. Basically, you put the fishing rod next to the meat like you do with all the other craftables, and you double left click on it, and the fishing rod will become baited. Then you drag the fishing rod over to the, I'm just going to use the piece of meat for now, over to the ocean, where you place the fishing rod into the ocean. Chicken, get out of here. Go cook the meat. Fire, thank you. There we go. Take some more of that. Obviously, it's getting dark again, so we probably want to start thinking about getting some more wood. Some more wood going. There we go. There's a lot of apples on the floor. I need to adjust the apple spawn rates. I think they're slightly too high. Apple spawn rate, something I never thought I'd say. Let's get another little fire going, and we'll craft these into a campfire. Let me just get these items out of the way, and here we go. Put these here. Craft that into a campfire, and we'll turn that into a lit campfire. And what I'll do is I'll chop down a couple more trees. Actually, let's chop down some more trees. There we go. So we get a bit more wood, and we'll do a fire down here somewhere. 1 more wood. It's 4 wood for a campfire, and so we need 1 wood and 1 piece of coal to make a torch. There we go, and then we can start this campfire up here. And obviously, something else interesting you should be able to see with this is the campfire's light radius is it adjusts dependent on how much fire the fire has left. I don't know what you even call it. How long it's been burning. The longer the fire's been burning, it starts to burn out. Eventually, I think the fires should last for about a day, maybe a day and a half. But basically, eventually the fires will burn out and they'll disappear like you saw the first one do. So this is the survival island. There's a lot of chickens. There's a lot of apples because the apple spawn rate isn't set yet. But I'm still working on that. Anyway, so back to fishing. You drag the fishing rod into the ocean, and what happens is all of the fish in a certain radius to the... Because everything in this game is inventoryless. It's all about actually taking the items and combining them yourself and performing the action. For instance, taking the wood, taking the coal, creating the torch. It's all about doing it yourself. It makes it, I think, in my opinion, more immersive. And from what I've heard from all of the viewers in the Twitch stream, this is sort of a combination of everyone's efforts. We put this together almost. So anyway, yeah, so you come over to the side of the island, you put the meat in the water. Any fish in the local proximity will be attracted to the meat or on your fishing rod, and they'll start to swim towards you. Now, the fishing rod in local proximity, you'll be able to right-click and drag the fish out of the water and place them on the land behind you, simulating fishing somewhat. And that's sort of how the fishing mechanic works. That's how all of the mechanics are going to work in this game. It's a combination of W, S, A, and D, and also mouse controls. We're on day 3 now, hour 4. Obviously, my health isn't going down, and there's not a sense of urgency yet because we don't have a sense of urgency. There's nothing trying to kill me. I'm not running out of health. It's not a problem. But eventually, you will be running out of health. The weather can change from clear to stormy to storming and to raining as well. All the different states of weather. The temperature will play into your thirst and hunger, so you'll need to have campfires going, and you'll also have to be gathering water into buckets and bringing it back. Oh, I went underground. Gathering water into buckets and bringing it back to the top surface to boil on the fires to drink, so that your thirst doesn't, so that your water levels stay up. And we're going to have all sorts of status effects. So, for instance, when it's nighttime and the temperature is maybe below 5 degrees, excuse me, if it's below 5 degrees, then you will be freezing. You'll have a freezing status, and if you keep the status long enough, you'll probably just die and become a frozen ice block, and game over. Now, something interesting you see just over here, this little thing here, that is actually a charcoal fragment. And if you see that piece of meat just turned into charcoal fragments, what happened there was they're actually all turning into charcoal fragments. The burnt meat stays cooking on the fire for too long, and you eventually end up turning it back into charcoal. Now, charcoal fragments are useful if, for instance, like me, you don't have any resources around left that are going to generate you some charcoal, which I don't. But I have plenty of chickens, and I can continue to breed these chickens, and it'll be the same with fish. Once you can catch the fish out of the ocean, you can catch the fish, kill them, and turn them into meat, and then cook the meat, turn the meat into charcoal like this, and then you can craft these together to create charcoal, full pieces of charcoal. So I'll bring 4 of these together and craft. I'll get a full piece of charcoal, at which point I can take some wood and begin to make more torches with them. Let's bring those down here and just craft. There we go. Turn that into a torch. And obviously these campfires are starting to run out. And I think the deal with the campfires will be they'll last a lot longer than this. This is sped up for development purposes, but the campfires right now, you'll be able to take a piece of wood, for instance, like this piece of wood, bring it over to the campfire and craft the two together, and you'll be basically adding wood to the fire. So this piece of wood will disappear and a new campfire will take its place with a restocked fuel source, and it will burn for longer again. So that's pretty much the basis of Survival Island right now, aside from the fishing rods, which I can't show you because, like I said, if I close the software now, it will kill my recording. There we go. We're burning a lot of meat now. Probably a good idea to... And as you can see, the trees are sort of spreading in a sense, because what's happening as I'm chopping these trees down, I'm given those seeds at a random spawn rate. So get to a point where you have a lot of seeds. It's all about balance. The balance still isn't right yet, but we're getting there. So yeah, there's a shitload of apples on the floor right now. That's like it's the apple apocalypse now. So, but basically, yeah, so you chop a tree down, there's a good chance that you're going to get a seed to replace it with, and then they will grow. And like I was showing you before, it's dark, it's nighttime, it's probably going to be cold up here. We need a way. We're going to use all that wood to craft bricks, and you can position those bricks on the map and create yourself a little house which will keep you warm. Then you can go underground, you can go find some more minerals and things like that. The numbers on these dirt fragments here right now, they're basically representing the difficulty to mine those sections of dirt. So higher difficulty pieces of dirt will yield higher quality resources in the future. At the moment, it's only generating stone, which is not very useful unless you only feel like making cave entrances. Which, let's make another one, by the way. Let's just take a piece of stone. I need 2 wood. Let's take a piece of wood. We've got tons of wood down here. 2 wood and 1 stone, and double click, we'll get another cave entrance. We can place that over here, dig to make a hole, and you'll see that we are now... Oh, this is temporary wood, by the way. I put some wood down here to test the crafting system underground, which I'll demonstrate in 2 seconds. So 2 pieces of wood and actually, I'll tell you what, 4 pieces of wood underground. We'll move those up here into this little clean section. 4 pieces of wood will make a... Oh, glitch! Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my god, I'm stuck out with the sharks. Well, anyway, you get the idea. So, I just glitched out of the map. I'm going to have to fix that. But anyway, we've been playing now for 4 days. So, I hope you guys are liking this game. This will probably make its way onto itch.io. And I have a feeling that Heartbeast from uheartbeast or youtube.com/uheartbeast will be joining me in the creation of this game in the coming weeks. We're both dedicating some time outside of our work hours to actually come and make this game, because it's got a lot of premise. It's actually probably the first thing that I've created. I mean, I started it, and it's the first thing that I started that got 160 viewers in such a short amount of time. We're live streaming this, and 160 people turned up, and they absolutely loved it. They helped out with ideas, they helped out with suggestions, they helped out with bug fixes. So I think we're going to take this game a lot further. This is really just the first developer's log of Survival Island. That name is subject to change, so don't get attached to it. Unless you like the name, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know in the comment section what you actually think of this game, because I'd love to hear your feedback on it. I'd love to hear everything you think about it. If you have any suggestions for things that should be craftable, any suggestions for features, any suggestions for, I don't know, monsters, different types of fish, different types of meats, things like that, let me know in the comment section below, because I will be taking all of that feedback, sticking it into a big Excel spreadsheet, and me and Heartbeast will probably just split that up and start knocking out some features and getting this game more playable. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave the comments in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.